Hilarious, good friend of mine, Paige Wesley, guys!
Thank you. I love going after Jacob because I never have to adjust the mic. It's so it's the best. It is the best. How are you guys doing? Good? Good. Something that happened to me earlier, a guy came up to me and just said, "I like the tits. Are they yours?" The only answer is, wow is right. The only answer is yes. Because even if you didn't like grow them yourself, you paid for them. Either through money or like blowjobs to old dudes. Like, either way, you put in the work. I feel like you can call them yours. The other thing too, there's nobody like repoing tits. No one's like going around taking them out. Like if they're in you, you win. No one wants used ones. It's like borrowing a piece of gum. Like, you just keep it. Don't want it back. The other thing too, no one's walking around like, oh no, I'm just holding on to these tits for a friend. She had an important meeting. She wanted to be taken seriously. We got a custody stitch worked out. Like, I got them on the weekends. She's got them for Easter and Christmas. It's pretty cool. Her boyfriend has visitation rights, but only if he's supervised. I think guys have gotten a little weird in the way they hit on girls. The other day after a show, a guy just came up to me and was like, "Hey, I want to put you up on the beams of my garage and have my way with you. Does that turn you on?" First of all, you just shouted a current fantasy at me as if I was there and enjoyed it too. Secondly, that sounds like the opening to a Law & Order SVU episode. Like, unless the second half of that is Detective Stabler, like, kicking the door down, shooting you, and then he and I go have sex somewhere, then no, that doesn't turn me on. It frightens me considerably. That's the other thing, too. Like, a girl could never get away with that. Like, I can't walk up to a guy and be like, "Hey, do you want to take a walk in the rain and then maybe go back to my house and make love all night, and then in the morning we could have pancakes, and then maybe someday you could move in and then we could get a puppy, we could name him Baldo, it would be amazing. Does that turn you on?" Hell yeah, crazy chicks give amazing head. Winning!
They do.
They do. See, sir, agreeing with that is not great. It does not bode well for your decision making.
I never said I had good judgment.
Oh, I'm not going to say it either, sir. I would never say you have good judgment. I'm questioning it as we speak.
That's a good time, but yeah.
Were they good, or was one of her personalities thinking they were good? Never mind. We've delved too far. We don't need to talk about his sexploits. Sexploits. It's a word. Don't look it up. Covering my bases. I'm glad Valentine's Day is over, everybody. Shit, yeah, is right. I'm glad because that means they're going to stop showing The Notebook on TV for a while. I have a few problems with this movie. First of all, Ryan Gosling is the worst movie boyfriend ever. I don't know if you actually, like, the only thing he does in that movie is cry, read poetry, and not finish furniture, and he's a goddamn carpenter! Like, he had one job! Like, that, his character as a carpenter doesn't do it. Like, can you imagine living with that dude? Like, you come home to your apartment, and it's just filled with wood shavings, like the bottom of a hamster cage. A bunch of, like, two-legged chairs laying around. He's just crying in the corner over green eggs and ham. Like, what do you say to that dude? You're just like, "Oh, so how'd the job interview go?" No? So is the dishwasher clean? No? So just the sweats today, then. The other issue I take with The Notebook is that sex scene. Like, when I was a teenager, when the movie came out, I was all about it, because I was like, sex will always be this awesome, and as an adult, I know better. And so I gravitate more towards things like Terminator, where it's just like a dingy motel, and lots of like grabbing at sheets, which is kind of a bad idea given the dinginess of a motel. Like, you wouldn't want to take a black light to it. What I'm saying is that's something I can recreate in my own life. Even like atonement when they're in the library. Like, I'm a nerdy girl, I can get down with books. It's all good. But the Notebook, it's like raining, he's like throwing her up against walls. Like, I'm short, but I'm not tiny. No one is picking me up and throwing me against walls anywhere. Until like a couple weeks ago when somebody did, and I felt like a kid who was slightly too old to believe in Santa Claus, but then sees him coming down the chimney. I always knew you were real. I believed. I am trying to lose a little bit of weight though, not like because I want to look better or be healthier, just because I want to have something to say to people when they ask me if I've lost weight. Which, if you're on the heavier side, people do it to you constantly. I think it's because they think it's going to make you happy. Like, no one's ever been upset to be like, I've lost weight, now I'll never get my show on TLC. I need to be bedridden. 600 pounds is the minimum. I am looking forward to the sponge baths. I was getting a salad, but I guess I'll just have fried chicken instead. No one ever reacts like that, so people just ask you. The problem with it, though, is like working out sucks. It's totally, you know, it's awful. And I'm not built for it either. You may have noticed, I am all torso. Like, this is not a long shirt. Like, that's where my hips are. All of it. I've got, like, short, stumpy legs. And these giant pendulums that threaten to, like, put out an eye or, like, cave in my rib cage on the backswing. It's just a bad idea. Like, the only thing this is good for is bending over seductively. Like, that's it. I also have giant feet. I wear a 9.5, and I'm 5'2". If you don't know how women's shoes work, wow is right. It's like a toddler wearing a pair of Ronald McDonald's. It's not good. I feel like God did it on purpose. He was like, she's going to be bent over a lot. Give her a firm foundation. I'll leave you guys with this. The other day, I was getting a burrito at my normal burrito place. If that phrase confuses you, see my earlier comments on working out. And a homeless guy walked in. He was wearing women's underwear on his head, and he was yelling about how we are all made of car engine parts. And I could not stop staring at him. And it wasn't because I have the cold, dead heart of a Kia Soul with a spoiler on it. I couldn't stop staring because the underwear he had on his head was the same kind I had under my pants. And I thought to myself, we're not so different here. He too shops the clearance rack at Frederick's and enjoys a lace boy short from time to time. All right, you guys have been awesome. Thank you.